Welcome to the Planet 63 Virtual Business Matchmaking Show, the next evolution of discovering Philippine and U.S.-made products and services. This is the show that helps create global sales opportunities and bring Philippine and U.S.-made products and services go from local to global. Thank you for watching the show, and now please welcome the host of Planet 63 from Local to Global, Ferdinand B. Soriano.
Market research, and to be more specific, international market research. It is a key piece of a successful export plan and globally expanding your market. Now, to me, market research is like going on a dream trip. I suppose you can go and, go with the flow and see where the wind takes you, or you can plan your trip, prioritize what you want to see, and check out your budget to see if you can see it and see which one you want to enjoy first. Now, if you're trying to export your products to the US market or any other country, and I'm talking to the Philippine manufacturers here, you can't afford just to see where the wind takes you. You need all the help you can get, and you need all the data you can get. Hi, everyone. My name is Ferdinand Soriano, your host for this special edition of Planet 63's From Local to Global. And I am the founder of Planet 63. We are a product sourcing, logistics management, and export marketing company in the United States. Now, the overall purpose of the show is to really create opportunities and, buying or selling sales opportunities for Philippine-made products, services, and investments in the U.S. market. Now, we also want to encourage U.S.-based entrepreneurs to also create a business, whether it be online or a brick and mortar, that involves Philippine-made products, services, and investments. Now, in this episode, we discuss the opportunities of freeze-dried fruit and vegetables in the U.S. market by sharing our mini research on this industry. Why, right? Because the Philippines, if you think about it, it's so abundant with a variety of healthy products and delicious fruits and vegetables. Think about that for a moment. I'll give you 3 seconds. Imagine the Philippines. And if you don't know where the Philippines is, Google it. Take your time. Now, it's a tropical location, organic soil from the volcano, plenty of water, amazing place to grow fruits and vegetables, right? Now, what's more important is think about this. The value of the vegetable processing industry in the U.S. market, in the U.S. I should say, is around 41.8 billion. And under that category, the market value for dried and dehydrated fruits and vegetables in the U.S. market is 5.10 billion, give or take, I guess. Now, Philippine manufacturers, are you taking notes? And this also goes for the farmers. Please take note. Now, that's what our episode is about today, and the market research that we want to share with all of you. Now, we created this research with a Philippine company in mind called Audrey's Confectioners. Now, as much as I want to take credit for all of the information that you hear today, I can't. The reason for that is because Planet 63, the reason why Planet 63 has been a proponent of providing value for us is that in the beginning of any relationship, the reason how we have been doing that and how we've been doing that in the past is that we have collaborated with Cal State University San Bernardino's Global Access Program. They help us create market research. They provide highlights and a brief explanation of the size and value of most of the industries in the United States market. These are valuable information that can truly help Philippine manufacturers understand the U.S. market that pertains to their products and services and investment opportunities. Let's meet the individual that puts together these mini research papers, which, by the way, I call myself, I'm trying to brand it as empowerment data. He's an amazing technical writer. He's currently a senior in the Cal State University San Bernardino, majoring in international business, and a valuable student intern in the Cal State University San Bernardino's Global Access Program, and of course, Planet 63. Please welcome Mr. Joseph Videz. Hey, Joseph, how are you, buddy?
Hello, Ferdinand. Hey, thank you. Thank you for that amazing introduction. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I love that. I'm getting better, I think, of introducing you. So that's kind of amazing. And pretty soon you won't be like you won't be like cringing and thinking, oh man, he's saying too much about me, embarrassing me. I know you don't
Uh,
like the being but being on the screen too much on the camera, but I appreciate you being here and us always trying to enlighten Philippine manufacturers about the U.S. market. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Joseph, and then about the Global Access Program.
Okay, thank you, Ferdinand. So as Ferdinand mentioned, I am a senior currently at the Cal State University of San Bernardino. I have partnered with their Global Access Program and two amazing individuals that have helped put this program together, Dr. Vipin Gupta and Jamie Ayala. They've been essential in helping me get where I am right now with Planet 63. As Ferdinand mentioned, I am an intern currently through their Global Access Program and their Center for Global Management. So Dr. Vipin Gupta was the one that introduced me to all of this. I did take one of his marketing management courses when I was a junior, and that kind of opened my eyes, kind of what I wanted to do for the future. So I changed my major from business management to international business, specifically in marketing. This class helped me put together kind of these brief business reports that I put together for Ferdinand, kind of teaching me where to get information from. And again, to Jamie Ayala, who also has helped me with the resources through the Cal State University San Bernardino Global Access Program, using the library and using these scholarly materials to figure what is more reliable to use and what is the most up to date. So it was kind of thanks to them, we have all these resources through the Cal State University that helped me with finding these U.S. market entries and kind of figuring out what the possible plans for any manufacturer, in this case, Philippine manufacturers, what they could be able to do in the future. And again, it's just kind of uh, with these materials, it's different than kind of putting together random pieces of information.
Well, the thing that I wanted to let our viewers know is that the resources that delve a little bit more into the resources as far as what you use to come up with some of these numbers that I'm throwing out there in terms of that. So because of this way, they'll know that I'm just not throwing. I mean, that's the amazing thing about being in the university. You have access to a lot of resources to do all your research. But can you tell us a little bit about that as far as the type that you use? I know that you might have mentioned a little bit already, but delve into some of the resource specifically so that they'll know if they ever want to check any of the data that we're using, they can go to all of these resources themselves and check it out.
Of course. So I first of all I start at the Cal State University library. Through there, I kind of research with major headlines, kind of little snippets of information through their website. So I go through their website and kind of find through their huge database and books available of in the economics and world marketing kind of online, of course. So this is all through online kind of sanctioned government websites. Through one of them I use a lot is IBIS, and that is strictly through access for the Cal State University students through their library. So that's one of the sources I use. And from there, another I use is again by the recommendation of Jamie Ayala on how to use Google to kind of filter out the type of articles I use for my kind of when I look into the information of the country specifically and their type of imports and exports and where they've come and where they rank in the world is also through like Google Scholars, where I get a lot of my stuff, and I use the most recent up to date kind of only in 2021 information, just so everything is up to date, and that way it's not through what the world was before, kind of pre-COVID. So a lot of the information is also updated with after COVID effects and kind of taking into consideration that some things have slowed down. So that's all again through the Cal State University Library and their moderators such as Jamie Ayala that show me where to get this information.
That's, the reason why I brought that up is because obviously we need to have some sort of a disclaimer where all this information is coming from, as well as the relevance, and also if it's updated. But more importantly, we want to tell the viewers that the research papers that we have, and we'll mention it throughout the show, it's available on www.planet63.com. They can get the research paper that you've done. But again, these research paper that we've done, so anybody out there that is into research, research companies, these aren't your full-blown every little nook and cranny about the market type of research. What it is that's why we call it an empowerment data, because at the end of the day, it just gives you the size of the market, some of its challenges and the opportunities, and it's just enough to be able to tell manufacturers, I think you're in the right place. You should go to the U.S. market. This is what you could do, and then we sort of localize the data, and that's what Joseph has done in terms of that. And you'll see more about what he did. Like I said, by listening to through the show, watching the show, and then at the same time also, maybe if you want to download and go to planet63.com. So again, we call them empowerment data. And with that being said, Joseph, now let's get really into the details of your research paper on the dried and dehydrated fruits and vegetables in the market in the USA. I'm so excited. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and do a big but there. Let's go into a break, sort of a commercial break, and show a video of one of our supporters of Planet 63, and check them out. And we are back. And for those who just tuned in or fast forwarded to this video, I mean, because at the end of the day, most of this stuff will be on YouTube and our platform. But if you are watching, well, if you are, then obviously you're fast forwarding also. But just to remind you what you are watching Planet 63's From Local to Global Special Edition. And I am your host, Ferdinand Soriano, the founder of Planet 63. And joining me today is the gentleman who is about to discuss the amazing research paper that he's done on the industry of the dried fruits and vegetables. And again, we call it empowerment data. He is a student at Cal State University San Bernardino, and he is also a student intern for the Global Access Program of the Cal State University San Bernardino, and also he's majoring in international business. Please, let's give him a big round of applause. If you're on the screen, give him a big round of applause, so to speak. His name is Joseph Videz. Hi, Joseph. Trying to be funny.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Ferdinand definitely wants to get me kind of presenting. I'm in the mood.
I'm sort of trying to be a joker, because at the end of the day, research is amazing. It's great for Philippine manufacturers, but if you don't make it fun, and every time I watch somebody do research, I go, oh man, it puts me to sleep. So I'm doing my goofy version, but at the same time, I don't want the Philippine manufacturers to know we're not serious about our business, because we are. But presenting research papers, stats, and all that, it's all about the delivery and all about the way we present it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the camera, so to speak. So what we're about to do is you're going to break down exactly your research paper, right, Joseph?
Yes, of course. So nothing boring about this information, especially if you're into the dried fruit and vegetable market in the Philippines looking to come to the US. This is kind of some exciting stuff. So everybody kind of please listen. We're kind of giving vital information here.
Yeah, so I'm assuming a lot of the Philippine manufacturers, hopefully they're watching this and really taking notes of it. And like I said, we want to encourage U.S. based entrepreneurs to create online businesses, whether it be that or brick and mortar. Really look into this and how it could affect you, or maybe you think about, like I said, selling dried, or dehydrated fruits and vegetables. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's show the screen of your research paper, okay?
Of course. Okay, so I'd like to start off with saying, as Ferdinand mentioned, this is kind of just scraping the top of the huge kind of meaty information there is about the industries in the US. So what we will provide is kind of a quick little brief snippet of it, just so, as Ferdinand says, to encourage to people to come and get into the market, which has a lot of room for people to come into, especially the U.S. Dried fruit and vegetable market. So we're going to start off by go ahead and counting out the global compounded annual growth rate of 6.83. So what that means is over throughout the entire globe, the consumption of these dried fruit and vegetable products will rise by 6.83% from 2020 to 2025. So that's kind of considering also North America, which would be the largest leading consumer of that 6.83% inside the globe. And that's because of these reasons. Some of the reasons will be because of the easy preparation and the easy consumption of these products. It kind of ties into the busy daily lives of Americans, where everybody's always working, taking care of their family, or always busy doing something. So there's no time to stop and peel a mango for themselves or cut it up into pieces. So what that kind of gives for these for in this product is ease of consumption and preparation. These are already kind of snacks prepared. Some of them with chocolate, caramel, and cashews. Some of them just given like that, just dried mango, and they're all just kind of that's the key interest of the consumers is how easy it is to eat without having to kind of go through that mess of peeling another fruit. And some of it is also the variations of the type of fruit. So the one we focused on, Audrey's confectionaries, are is mango, but the in truth of all types of dried fruit is favored by the U.S. consumers, only because again it gives them a different type of taste for other stuff and variation of what to choose. So that's kind of why the variation is kind of a key point in trying to keep the product line fresh and having the consumers being able to choose a different flavor every single time. So also what that does is the type the way, excuse me, they are prepared is how the shelf life extends. So just in
Hmm.
case people are able to kind of hold on to it for a while, or if it's on the shelf, it'll never go bad. It never perishes, even though it is fruit, but it is again dried fruit. So that's kind of what again the appeal for this is because of the extended life it has. Even you don't have to eat it immediately. So there's always that again the ease of consumption and access that of this kind of this type of snack that it gives to it. Another thing that's super important, kind of another that owns up to the growth rate, is how healthy it is. So another concern of the U.S., especially now, is kind of the awareness for obesity and kind of high blood pressure. These kind of things affect how people consume, especially snacks. Snacks are kind of again a day thing that go to U.S. Citizens because of how busy we are, kind of how we're always working in between tasks and multitasking, and kind of one of the things that are given up throughout the day is mainly is eating. People will always give up eating just to get squeeze in a little bit of extra type of work there is. So, kind of with that being said, that kind of gives it the appeal of having to eat healthy still while being on the go. It's not having to prepare yourself a salad or having to possibly do hours and hours on end of exercise. You can still eat little snacks like this that are covered still in chocolate and caramel, but still healthy enough that it doesn't give the bad bad effects that some of these other like potato chips or sugar candy and things like that. This kind of gives you the sweet the little sweet tooth, the little sweet treat that you need for the day without compromising again the if you're feeling guilty of needing to if you can eat more or not. You can always eat plenty, especially if it's this dried fruit. So
You
that's
know, well,
go ahead.
I was going to add something to that really quick before you dig deeper into it, because I wanted to comment on what you said, which on a business level, and then sort of creating a demand.
Mhm,
Going back to the shelf life, that's a big
mhm.
deal. Only because I think that a lot of other countries, well, obviously we're focusing on the Philippines. You know,
Yes.
you're here in the we're in both in the U.S., right? But we may
Mhm.
never taste a fresh whatever fruit it may be, right?
Yeah.
And only because of the voyage it takes to get from point A to point B, right?
Mhm.
But by the science or the processing of freeze drying it like this, we're able to get close to as if we were tasting the real thing. And then because the other thing too is a lot of people are introduced to either herbs or fruit by supplements also. So
Mhm.
with this technology, it gives a lot more people the variety and the if they're curious about something, it's the next best thing until obviously they can transport the product, especially right now with the supply chain. You're trying to bring a food over and it takes in 2 or 3 months, that thing is
Yeah.
gonna go crazy. So anybody out there thinking about doing dried fruits and creating something unique, that is probably the best selling point, because like what Audrey's Confectioners is doing there. They're creating, enabling you to taste their creation with the basis of the mango with other ingredients mixed into it. But because it's freeze dried, you're and then if the science or the process is done really well, it should maintain that freshness. And again, from a business level, create another type of market for a variety or a unique fruit or fruit product or vegetable product, right?
Yeah, of course. And that brings me up to my next point, Ferdinand. You're kind of thinking ahead here. That
I snuck in, buddy. I snuck in.
Yeah, no, of course. I appreciate that. You're kind of thinking outside the box because I didn't even show you this and you already know. But that's kind of another key factor of the growth. It's kind of the demand for natural ingredients, especially that aren't available here in the US. So, like you said, freeze dried a mango. Me personally, I haven't seen it on store shelves or anything like that. So that's kind of a good, especially the way it's prepared, kind of covered in caramel and chocolate gives it a distinct different taste. And that's kind of another thing is the distinct taste that comes from a different country that isn't available here that adds to the appeal to it. So that's kind of why big companies are looking for these types of mergers and acquisitions of these imports, kind of to get different a different dig, if you can say, to the consumers, a different taste that's foreign, like you said, and the natural ingredients are just not there. So I mean, I know Philippines, right, is known a lot for their natural resources. So that's kind of one thing that can be exploited from this type of product is the mango, the dried mango, the type of way it is dried and the way it is prepared and to be eaten is kind of different. So that's another key reason that plays into the growth for the North American market.
Well, I think let me add on to that as far as the mango. I don't want to interrupt your thought process, but again, just to make a comment, I mean,
Hmm.
mango has been around. The technology, I think, is getting better and better. And what they're
Yeah.
doing, the Philippine manufacturers are they're taking the basis of freeze drying it for shelf life purposes, but they're being more creative
Hmm.
in what they combine it with. Because if you go to Audrey Confectioner's website, you look at all the products that they currently, offer, it's a
Hmm.
variety thing. It's not just dried mangoes. They've gone to the next level of it. But again, I'm hoping just because of the technology, more unique or indigenous product, fruits and vegetables from the Philippines, obviously, gets
Hmm.
introduced because of this. And now, everybody that's an amazing market that maybe Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or something can take advantage of. But we'll get into that later. I just wanted to make a comment because of that technology. Now they're becoming more creative and they're able to get into other products. Period. Is basically what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, and that's kind of again tying into the healthier way of snacking and needing to have a variety in the product line to offer different types of fruits, because not everybody likes the same type of fruit. So it is again important to have a huge variation. So like Ferdinand said, Audrey's doesn't only prepare dried mango; it prepares other products and prepares them in different ways. It's not just only covered in chocolate or caramel. It's kind of, it could be combinations of either or, and that's kind of what gives Audrey's Confectionery is kind of a standout to wanting to experiment with preparing these types of snacks in these different ways, just to try and see which way would stick around the best, I think. And with that again being said, it's just having to supply, having dealing with these again like they're called like volatile products. They kind of change within different types of seasons, but with these types of snacks again, it's the trend has increased from 2018. So kind of the decline for healthy products was kind of steady before 2018, but once you introduce kind of like social media and the how this body movement trying to look the best way you can for displaying, it's just kind of another factor that plays into the growth of these products and why they will continue to be popular and will grow again at a compounded annual growth rate of 6.83 from 2020 to 2025. I think you're muted there, Ferdinand.
There you go. I was trying to let you have the entire thing without even me talking.
No, it's okay.
No, I was just gonna say was that when it comes to the what happening, obviously the U.S. market, I don't even know you want to call it post-pandemic because we're technically still dealing with it. But with the way it is now, everybody is so much into um, being careful what they consume. Obviously,
Mhm.
monetary limitations can be there too. It's all about the pricing too, right? But if you take out that perspective, but just knowing that they have all these choices, a lot more people are, like you said, becoming more conscious of what they're doing. And then I think if I'm as a Philippine manufacturers, I'm looking at these numbers and I would be empowered, just like what we're trying to do. I would be empowered.
Mhm.
There's a lot of other factors that would concern them, obviously, with other costs. But if you're just isolating the idea that should I go to the U.S. market and sell my amazing products, like if we're talking to Audrey's right now, the
Yeah.
reality is I would still say yes, only because the reason why a lot of people need to export is because the statistics tells you that your market in the U.S. only 5% of whatever market, 95% is outside of the United States in terms of your market. So if you're a developing country or a developed country already, you have to put that into the mix and being able to do that. So I'm basically just saying, hey, Philippine manufacturers, go for it. This is an amazing place based on what Joseph has said so far. So go ahead, Joseph. I'm sorry, I just had to, when you start flashing numbers on the screen, I get excited because at the end of the day, that's what a lot of Philippine manufacturers are looking at.
Of course. So I'll go ahead and get into that part right now. So all this information was gathered by IBIS, the world database, kind of in the U.S. market, approximate. So it is valued in 2021 about around $41.8 billion of revenue. Annual growth has been up from 1.1% to 2021 to 2026. So that should be forecasted, as I should say. And kind of the market or the industry, I'd like to say, is segmented into different types, kind of where the revenue comes from, as far as kind of, there's the fruit and regular fruit and vegetable sales, there's the dried, there's other different ways in preparing these types of fruits and vegetables. So our section that we're looking at is the dried and dehydrated fruits and vegetables market. Sorry, for it is accounted for 12.2% of the 41.8 billion, accounting for 5.1 billion dollars. And kind of with that again is the reasons for the growth is what we just went over as per Mordor Intelligence, is kind of through their consumption rate of how U.S. consumers are looking through the future and wanting to eat healthy and wanting to have a different type of snack is kind of why the this type of market is the third out of the eight types of different markets that were segmented. This is the top three. It's so it's kind of, you know, a big deal that this is on the rise. And again, we go over kind of regional aspects of this market, and we would look over to California being the highest in the U.S. for business concentration and 19.7%. And as we
Joseph,
go, yes.
Joseph, with that, before you go on, and I'm always interrupting you because I wanted to re-emphasize all the things, because
No, you're
sometimes I see a lot of things that we need to kind of go back to because it's so powerful
hmm
in terms of maybe some sort of a backstory kind of thing. To me, I think you mentioned earlier. Did you already mention about the mergers? I want to go back into the mergers.
Yeah, so the merger and acquisitions is another kind of so this is kind of a key role that plays into like a small exporters that are bringing product into the US. So that kind of the big five companies were looking for these mergers and acquisitions of these companies for more ideas and fresh ideas of kind of the taste for these dried and dehydrated fruits. So that's kind of why these international small businesses that are looking to come to the US, it's kind of a good time to come into right now because of these mergers that are being that are wanted by these by the big companies, only because it'll help them in growing their reach throughout the US, because again they're having to reach a certain point where they're probably not selling enough, or they need, or their consumers are demanding a different taste and a different input to their product line. So that's kind of why in it's that was for through Mordor intelligence is kind of why it was a key role for, especially in again the international aspect for companies that are coming into the US to look. That's kind of a way to dig through the
Let's
competition, is appealing through the consumers.
let's break that down a little bit further. What that means to a Philippine manufacturer, right? To me,
Mm-hmm.
the mergers acquisition, obviously, just even in the U.S. market,
Mm-hmm.
obviously there are name brands already promoting a certain product, right? To me, that
Yeah.
way that breaks down is that you got this huge, very huge conglomerate marketing a certain product already. Let's just say
Mm-hmm.
apples or something,
Yeah.
but they feel that they don't want to ruin that brand,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to be more mobile with maybe creating or introducing a new product. And that's the reason why I think, from what I gather from the research that you did, is based on the fact that now they can be more flexible introducing new products without ruining the other brands that they might have already created. Like I said, somebody who's maybe promoted apples or anything U.S. grown or something, and then now here they
Mm-hmm.
are getting into Philippine manufacturing product or Philippine
Yeah.
fruits and vegetables that may not be in the same realm, maybe, and maybe that's what I'm understanding it from it too. But the other point that I want to make from a Philippine manufacturer's perspective is that if I'm a Philippine manufacturer, I'm looking at that as that, oh, okay, maybe, just maybe, I put up a small company in the US, boom, 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 and maybe a major conglomerate might want to buy that US version of it, you know,
Yeah.
and you don't know, and just be, and that's obviously another aspect of the international business. It's not about the product being here, it's about just being wise with why you would be motivated to want to have that product here, or introduce it at least in the beginning, and then maybe down the line partner up with a US based manufacturer who has a wide reach in terms of distribution, or maybe even private labeling it, as a lot of companies do. And I know that major stores like Trader Joe's are big on private labeling products, and
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing that they could take advantage of, which I think in the past shows that we did, we never really got into that. But since you mentioned it here in terms of flexibility and being experimental, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, that's just my perspective from what I read. Is that something? Is that exactly what you were feeling too?
Well, when I kind of saw, you know, that these huge companies were looking at kind of, again, how you said, try to grab these product lines if they're to come to the US and try to make it their own. It's kind of in trying to see it, if you were a Philippine manufacturer, it's kind of like, oh, like they're, running out of ideas. So that kind of gives a little bit more room to, or more encouragement to bring these different flavors, how I thought, from the Philippines, especially these mango dried snacks, or whatever Audrey's Confectionaries has to offer, or any other Philippine manufacturer, that whatever they have to offer is different than what's being offered here. So through that, with the right scheme and trying and displaying it the correct way through retailers or specialty vendors, such as Audrey's Confectionaries can go to a specialty, kind of how we went through before, with chocolate, is kind of, if you go through a specialty store that doesn't isn't like Trader Joe's, it will probably, um, it would probably be able to kind of, again, through there, have a different kind of premium feel to the product, and with that, it gives it a little bit more, over the conglomerates, as you like to say, is just the appeal of having like a foreign product that's different, is I kind of saw it that way, as if, they're kind of running out of ideas, so other people have other products that are being offered that are kind of taking away the spotlight from theirs. So
Well,
that.
no, you're right. You're right.
Mhm.
That's a good thought process. I mean, I think both of our points are well taken, and I think you could take that away from the market research that you did. And again, for those who want to read this market research, please go to www.planet63.com. Joseph, what I wanted to do was introduce one of our supporters, and again, this video of theirs, which is their commercial, so to speak, sort of kind of delves into the amazingness, if there is such a word, in the
Mhm.
in the Philippines and the surrounding area. So it's sort of appropriate to show this next commercial of ours, and let them know and to see what the Philippines is about. Now, when we come back from that, I want to get into your recommendations, and then also our thought process and how I think Philippine manufacturers should enter the U.S. market. Okay, so
Of
let's get
course.
into that right away after this the commercial. I still have to figure out what we want to call it. So it's so cliche to call it commercial, but infomercial, I guess, whatever. Anyway, so here we go. Thank you so much. And here is from a company called Enjoy Health, and enjoy the video. Well, that was going to be a long commercial, so I had to cut it off. Anyway, all joking aside, thank you. That was from one of our supporters called Enjoy Health, and you've just seen basically sort of a glimpse of what the Philippines looks like. And I mean, the whole country is not like that, of course, but great parts of the country is like that. It's tropical. It's beautiful. So, with that being said, Joseph, for all those watching us right now, they're going, "Who the heck are these guys?" Just in case you haven't discovered who we are, my name is Ferdinand Soriano. I am your host for this special edition of Planet 63's From Local to Global. And Planet 63 is a product sourcing, logistics management, and export marketing company based in the US. And with me today is our student intern, as well as an international business major who is attending Cal State University San Bernardino, also a part of the Cal State University San Bernardino Global Access Program. Again, please welcome Joseph Vides. Hey, Joseph. So let's go ahead and continue, and let's talk about our recommendation. I don't know if there's something that you wanted to finish off, but I wanted, as a remainder of our time with our audience, to kind of talk about your recommendation as far as market entry. But go ahead and feel free to finish off what you wanted to finish off in terms of your last point.
No, of course. So this kind of ties into the recommendation, the Planet 63 recommendation, kind of, what we feel Philippine manufacturers can take advantage of when coming into the U.S. market. Again, this is kind of to be taken as an encouragement tool, not as much as a serious kind of in-depth market research, as Ferdinand put it. But they are empowerment data, so please feel empowered after hearing our recommendation. So the barriers to entry for this industry are are low. So kind of with that being said, it is easy for small companies to come and compete because of how kind of how small how would I say the influence currently of this industry is. There's always room to grow, especially in the dried and dehydrated fruit and vegetable section, which is only a small part of the U.S. market. So, with that being said, it kind of with the counties being looked at, the highest being Los Angeles County, which is we are near in Southern California, with a 15.98% of business concentration inside of California. So with that being said, it has a lot to be tied into the population that is diverse and looks into these healthy eating snacks. So that is why our recommendation is to kind of look for these heavily populated, diverse areas that look into that kind of are more conscious of the times and the trends that are going on, that are more involved through social media, which is a lot of where the influence comes from, being able to advertise products or to advertise the results of products. If people like a product, they go and they boast about it through social media as being how good it is and how different it is from others. So kind of looking through those areas is another key to being competitive within this industry. And another thing is of these snacks is how cost effective they are producing them. And again, the shelf life being another key aspect to it, being able to last a long time and people being able to enjoy it without having to question if it goes bad or not. So with that, again, the opportunities in Los Angeles seem perfect, and it already is the the biggest in regards to generating revenue of this segment, and it kind of has the changes again, the changes of the times that Philippine manufacturers or any manufacturer can get involved into this market, especially with these natural ingredients that people are eyeing more now. The consumers want to buy premium products, premium quality products that show uh, kind of the results that they're looking for in healthy snacks, not gaining weight, kind of finding themselves feel a little bit more enlightened through movement or lighter, kind of through the moods through the day. And that kind of has a lot to do with these natural ingredients, especially where they come from. And that's, again, our recommendation for the industry. I think you're muted again, Ferdinand.
I have to stop doing that. So
Oh,
anyway,
you're good.
there you go. I want to go back to that comment before you continue with your recommendation, because I always am a big fan of
Mhm.
when I'm watching something, I wish there was like a back voice saying, "This is the reason why they're explaining that." Okay, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
What it is that the reason why we're mentioning that, one of the things that I'm very proud of to be able to say is that Planet 63 style in helping Philippine manufacturers is that we don't promise like you come into the US and you're just going to be this amazing national food and we're going to get the giant all of that, accounts and everything. Of course we're going to try for all of that, but in reality, we, not only is Joseph very confident in regionalizing some of his data, because obviously that's where we are, we're in Southern California. I have a firm belief that when you're trying to get into the U.S. market, you take baby steps, right? So this is kind of like my Ferdinandism or Planet 63ism. I'm a big fan of for Philippine manufacturers, getting your products here, having it be compliant, having it well packaged, having all of that, and taking baby steps in trying to get into a market for your products, getting it into a store. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing, and then we can try to grow from there. Just like when you first grew your business in the Philippines, and again, I'm talking to obviously the Philippine manufacturers, but obviously it applies to anybody as far as that exporting their product. You try to get into the market even on a small scale, at least in the beginning. And so that's the reason why, Joseph, I've asked him to do research on local markets. That honestly, that's where Planet 63 journeys your travel. So with that being said, I'll throw it right back to Joseph as far as his numbers when it comes to the regional or the localized market that he's referring to.
Yeah, so kind of we already covered the Los Angeles being the highest in the US, but it is followed again by Fresno County, which isn't a county we like to see kind of a lot in the top trend spots, but Fresno is kind of a large kind of agricultural region in the northern kind of up northern California. So that's kind of why it's into the top three, followed by Orange County, which is just 5.47% of the business concentration. So again, that is part of Southern California with being in the top three for business concentration. So if it doesn't really work out in Los Angeles County, you can always go to Orange County. And the best way to start this type of business for these type of products is looking into how I mentioned before, specialty retail stores. So specialty retail stores kind of go down into selling um, a little bit smaller kind of as far as not being as huge as a supermarket. It will kind of focus more on selling these type of either dietary snacks or just kind of candy in general, but with a healthy section, kind of what they usually do at the supermarkets. With these stores, it offers the consumers to have different variations and how to what kind of products to pick, kind of comparing the prices as well and the ingredients to each other gives them a perfect chance to see what is worth buying and what is the most cost effective product to buy. So with that, it kind of gives them a choice instead of going kind of online with people not being able to see what's the better product, especially the cost, because not all products are sold in on every single website on all. So that's why these specialty stores are kind of recommended to get these products into the U.S. market in the most effective way. Muted again, Ferdinand.
You know, in all of the shows that we've done so far, and the common denominator is a lot on the advertising or the distribution of the products. Obviously, a lot of online comes into mind, right? So
Mhm.
last week we talked about the men's clothing industry. We gave its numbers, and the same thing that we're doing for the dried fruit and vegetables. At the end of the day, I think I think online will obviously play a key part in a lot of this stuff, and it's just a question of what I think most manufacturers will have to deal with is making sure that the products are FDA compliant, they are packaged well, and they're of quality. Those are the side things that I probably just want to add on there, because all of these market research data, that the empowerment data we're doing, again, we're all assuming that it's everything is in compliant. Obviously, just another caveat, so to
Yeah.
speak, to the Philippine manufacturers. So everything that we're providing here is all about that. Just assumption that you've taken care of the labeling, the compliance, and all of that, and you're doing the best to process it, and you are ready to take your game to the next level, because your product is better than just being in the Philippines. It needs to be shared globally. So with that being said, again, go back to, I guess, with the last remaining minutes that we have on the show, your last thoughts about the market, and possibly even what's for the next show. So, do you have any closing remarks when it comes to that? What do you want to say to the Philippine manufacturers, Joseph?
Well, just kind of again with these empowerment datas, as Ferdinand likes to call them, again to just kind of take them as encouragement tools for the Philippine markets to kind of try and come into the U.S. or again the other way around, U.S. Based uh, companies to go into the Philippines. There's always there's always plenty of room to kind of start a new business. It's just needing to know the little small kind of breakthrough things to encourage people. And kind of with that being said, the projects that we have for the future is kind of what I have planned is kind of getting together. We are going into the beverage market, kind of looking into different types of beverages. We have alcoholic beverages, we have I think we had a cacao-based beverage, and I think one of them was a tea. So we're kind of trying to get get our hands in a lot of different pools here, as you want to say, kind of see where we can get.
Well, like I said, the research that you've done has been amazing, and I'm looking forward to more of these things because at the end of the day, that's the value that we're providing. I think every manufacturers from other countries wanting to go to other countries, they just need some reassurance. They just need to know that it's going to be worth their while to go into the market, and hopefully that's the message that we're trying to convey to Philippine manufacturers or who want to export to the US market, right? And
Hmm.
again, those are the things that I'm excited to be able to do with this show that we're doing now. What we'll be doing is we'll be featuring more of these research, or what we, again, we call empowerment data in future episodes of our show. Now, we want you to please stay tuned, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you'll know, when new episodes are coming into play. And those are the things, you get notified when the new show, you'll get to know what amazing content regarding Philippine made products and services are going to be brought to you. We're considering bringing on actual Philippine manufacturers and changing up the format where we actually show products from the Philippines and have Philippine manufacturers be in the show. Now, if you are a Philippine manufacturer or service provider and you want us to create empowerment data for you, these mini research papers, you can please send us a message at www.planet63.com, and we will do our best to accommodate your requests. And at the end of the day, again, I want to thank Joseph for your diligence in being able to come up with these empowerment data. I look forward to your next one. So with that being said, I'm excited for the next paper for the beverage. Now, I always like to leave with an empowering note, but in this case, I can't come up with one. So I'm just going to say at this point, to all the Philippine manufacturers, continue to do so. We hope that we are empowering you. And my last comment is take care and let's go global.